Hello there, great person. Good to have you back or have you here. So, today I want to make a quick video because I actually saw the Dune movie the second time and I want to talk about some things I noticed, some details, some things that I thought were cool, some new stuff not remembered, I realized that was happening, some cool detail. And first things first. So today will not be a foundation upload. I will do it tomorrow. I've got a lot of work today and tomorrow, so it can only come out tomorrow evening. Sorry for that. I also created or linked my Twitter profile to this channel. So if you want to keep updated about why I might not be uploading, check that out because I might once or twice say, yeah, today I can't do it because of work because it's quite random, so there might be stuff coming in. So yeah, that's everything. So I actually went and saw it again, this time in German, the German dub, and yeah, in the cinema on Saturday with two great friends of mine, and one of them was a person I went with the first time, and yeah, he had quite heavy health problems today and surgery, so I hope he's okay. He seems to have woken up. So if you see this, mate, you're one of the best people I know. Shoutouts to you. I hope you get well soon. And yeah, so we watched it again. German dub is fine. It's fine. The Baron sucked in German. I have to admit that. So if you see it in German and think the Baron is not that great, he's not that great. He really sucked in German. He was not imposing at all. He was just a weird guy that was fat and floating sometimes, and this menace in his voice and the reverb they added and stuff didn't really fit. And also Paul was the scenes where Paul or where Timothy really shines in the original. Nope, doesn't translate. The voice actors did their best, but they sounded just whiny. It didn't fit. Was not that good. But other than that, it was an okay dub. There were scenes where I couldn't understand anything, even though I knew what they were saying because I watched the English version. So yeah, if you can watch it in English, and if you don't get everything, if it's your first time watching, watch it in German again. So yeah. Now I will, yeah, in this video there will be some more heavy spoilers, obviously, because I'm gonna talk about stuff I noticed, some details, some things I remembered that I did not remember from the movie that I saw thought were excellent. And yeah, so first things first, the general experience. It was a lot better to watch it because I could relax. I wasn't tense in every scene. I didn't. I mean, I was focused on the screen, but it was more like compare it to if you watch a football game or whatever that you really like, and you're just looking at the screen because your favorite team is playing, and oh god, what is happening? And you're just focused on the screen. You can't let go of a second. That was my first viewing. The second was if you go to a wellness temple and you just sit down, you know it's gonna be quite great. It's a great experience. You just sit down there and you relax and you look at the screen. It's all great, and that was my experience the second time. So I can definitely recommend watching it again if you were quite focused in the first time. And there were a lot of things, relatively speaking, that I noticed that were quite cool. Some I find still questionable, and I will talk about them later, but it was a very, very pleasant experience. And it was, I went a bit earlier to as well. I went at 5 p.m., so it was a bit earlier. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's also something I wanted to talk about. So it's been out for 4 weeks now in Germany. Point taken, we went on a Saturday, but the cinema was completely booked out. I think there were about 20 seats left in a 250 seats cinema. I think it was a 250 seats cinema, and yeah, you have to subtract the COVID seats because there are seats that they uh, have to spare because obviously there are still rules in Germany. We're not Denmark, so unfortunate. I think it will be over by spring. I hope it gets gets better at university. But yeah, so that's just to say it was still packed. So I haven't seen that, and I thought, yeah, let's just watch it. I mean, it's out 4 weeks. There are not gonna be many people. We got nice comfy chairs, but crappy places because it was on the right side, very much to the right, and I could see everything. It was, but we saw these lights from down where the seats are. There's sometimes these lights that are still on because people would fall over when they went to the toilet. Yeah, those were on. Couldn't see much because of that, but yeah, just for your information, it's still very very hot here, and I know that from experience there are not many people in cinema here in my city, so it might be the after COVID, the after COVID time that people start to go again because the rules are being loosened a bit more here. Might be that, but I think this is gonna be a smashing hit still. Think it, and we've seen the box office numbers. Great, great stuff. Yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed. So now there will be spoilers. So if you just wanted to check out what I thought generally, um, yeah. Hope you had a great time watching this. For the others, now let's get into some stuff that I really really found interesting. So first thing is shields and less guns. It was something that was brought up once or twice in the comments. There are people confused about things. There were people a bit mad, I think, about things, and I understand that the less guns were used when there were shields around, which is not the case in the movie. I really paid attention to that, and I think I spotted everything there. I hope I didn't miss something. So there are, and I commented this as well, but I will just tell it now again. So there are three scenes where las guns are actually used, at least what looks like a las gun. You might argue that one of them is a plasma gun or something like that, which is also possible to imagine in the Dune universe. And yeah, so first thing is in the intro when Shani tells about the Harkonnen plundering her planet, there's the carry-all that they shoot with las guns. So they shoot it with las guns. Obviously, a carry-all, as it's in the movie like in the books, doesn't have a shield because the worms would just go into frenzy, go up and end it. So yeah, no shield there. Everything fine, everything logical. Great scene, by the way. It's such a great opening. And yeah, so the second time, and this is the thing that I want to talk about. The second time is Duncan. So Duncan gets into the Thopter after ending 3 Sarduka in the corridor, but not the corridor you are thinking about. It's still in Arrakeen. He ends 3 Sarduka, goes out, and he finds a Thopter, kills, I think, 5 Harkonnen and 2 flee, and he takes the Thopter, goes up, bombs 2 other Thopters, so they can't go after him, and then he starts flying, and then, and I don't remember that from the first time, but it's there. So they have rockets and they shoot Duncan's Thopter, and the shields are flaring up, and they are flaring up not only where the rockets hit the Thopter because it gets pushed to the side where so it's hitting them and it's pushed here, and on the other side the shield is also like flickering and I think it's just dying. So he doesn't have a shield anymore, and then he starts flying away, and then there's this giant laskin that shoots at him. But yeah, so technically it was all okay. The laskin didn't hit a shield, so it was still according to the books. And the city was already every shield was down because UA had arranged that. So every shield in the city was down, and so the building shields and the Thopter shield was down, and they shot at him. Um, I think it's still a stretch. I am still a bit, yeah, be careful with that because yes, there were no shields, but how would the Harkonnen know that? I mean, okay, what info do they have? They have the info the Thopter's shields are down. They have the info there are no big shields around, but there might be ground troops in the buildings where they shoot at. I think. And if the movie is out and we see it on DVD, I will analyze that. That's something I will analyze the Les Gun scenes. I will do an in-depth analysis on that. But I just want to tell you now because it was something that was discussed in the comments, and I know that. So I think that was a bit stupid because they shot las guns through buildings. There might have been people with shields inside. Perhaps that's why they blew up. I think some of them blew up after that. Might be that. I'm not sure. That might have been the case. If that was the case, it was the las gun hitting body shields and they blew up the buildings. That's okay. We don't see it. It's head canon, so to speak, for me now because I mean, I do this all the time. I have to admit that if there are scenes in the movie I really love and they don't make a lot of sense, and you could argue against them, I say, yeah, it's probably this. But if you are critical of this is something you might criticize, and you might criticize that rightfully. But I think my headcanon is there were people perhaps with shields and they blew up the buildings that are blown up. I don't know, but it's an yeah. Why would you shoot a las gun when okay? It would also fit the canon. You shoot a laskin when you know there's only person shields and they just blow up buildings. That's okay, but yeah. So anyway, last time was similar. So they shoot a laser, and I am not sure if a laser is a laskin. I have to admit that because a laser might be a laser and a laskin might be a plasma gun. We don't know how they work exactly. I mean, perhaps you do. I've only read 2 books. So in those 2 books, it's never explained how las guns exactly work by a physics standpoint. So I could imagine las guns are plasma guns, and the laser was just a normal laser burning through building. So then it would have made sense. But if it was a las gun, yes, there was no one with a shield inside the room. But did they know that? How would they know that Paul and Kynes and Jessica did not have a shield? So it fit. There was no shield. They did not need a shield. But how did they know that? And I have not a good explanation for that yet. I might come up with some headcanon there as well. So if you want that, I will do that in the scenes analysis when I do them. But yeah, that was the weakest las gun use if a laser is a las gun, which I don't know that. I could just, yeah, headcanon is for me right now. A laser is not a las gun. A las gun is a plasma ray, and a laser is a normal photon ray. That might fit then. Then everything would make sense. Everything would be okay. The movie would adhere to the book canon. If you take those 2 assumptions of mine, which you might do, I don't know. But just my silly thoughts about this, because I know there are people that were really upset about this. And those are my 2 cents. Tell me what you think about that. So something I really, really focused on, it was something that I really did not get that heavily in the first movie, was the Yarmouth stuff. And that was greatly done. It was a lot better done, and I thought that I already loved it. So what they do is, and I might have mentioned this before, but I don't think I have. So what they did is they introduced Yarmouth as a vision when they are in the storm. So if I'm sorry, my English is not that good today. It's very late. I worked 10 hours again, so that's a good. So I'm sorry, but yeah. So Yarmouth was worked in at during the storm scene when Paul is having some meditations about the future, and they are swirling around inside the storm with the thopter switched off, and they're swirling, and he has this vision, and he sees Yarmouth, and Yarmouth just is like this great guy. He gives him advice. Later on, he again sees that Yarmouth is a friend, and he will lead him to something, and he will teach him about the Fremen. Yes, but it's a plot twist, and I did not get that because Yarmouth is, for me, I know you know who Yarmouth is, but it was like he's gonna be this friend, and I did not get that impression the first time. And someone mentioned it in the comments, and I'm sorry I don't remember who it was because it was 2 videos ago or so. But yeah, please, if you remember, put your name in the comments so I can pin it. Was great stuff, and you really and you made me aware of this. So if you are not a book reader, you might think, okay, this guy's gonna be a friend with that guy, is gonna teach him the way of the Fremen and stuff like that. And then we see also how he is stabbed and bleeds out, and it doesn't really fit. Anything doesn't fit, and they say something like, if you fight someone or stuff like that, you end. So Paul Atreides will end. And by end, you know which word I'm normally covering by that. So yeah, so that's what they say. And so, and you see the vision with a blood on the hand, and it's the same color as the blood on Chinese hand in the Jihad vision, and it's also the same color that that in the end is, I think, in the movie. And there is also yeah, and what also takes place is Paul gets stabbed, bleeds out, and Yarmus is coming, and he takes his hand and says, "Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you," so to speak. He doesn't say that, and it's like this friend he's gonna meet. And in the end, the plot twist, we all know what the plot twist is. Yes, it's all true. So, but it's metaphorical, of course. So Jamis is the friend that tells him of the Fremen culture because they have the battle, and you know what happens in the battle. And it's also Paul Atreides dies, and when he does the act, when he finally decides to end Yamis after he beat him 3 times, which is absolutely great, great scene. So he beats him 3 times, and then he's just like, no, he stabs him here, no here, from your point here. He stabs him here, and then he falls down and dies, and then Paul goes down and takes his hand the way it was the other way around in the vision. And Yamis, I think, smiles or he looks content. And then you hear Kwisatz Haderach being shouted by the actress of Mohiam, who is representing through the movie. So her voice is like the cell memory inside everyone. That's like this Bene Gesserit voice in everyone. So the cell memory that they try to refine and bring out to create the Kwisatz Haderach. So that's a beautiful thing, and I absolutely liked it. And yes, Paul Atreides died there, and you hear Kwisatz Haderach. So that is the scene where Paul Atreides is no more. He's become Muad'Dib. And we don't get the name. We will probably get the name in the beginning of the next movie. Yeah, so that's something I really, really appreciated a lot more in this version, because I just didn't get it, because Jamis was, for me, I knew what that was gonna happen. It was no surprise. But then I thought, okay, if you don't know this is so interesting. And I took him for part at first. I thought it was Parted Kinds because he was spouting this wisdom, and yes, the wisdom of the Fremen was given to Paul Jamis in this movie, but not the way the vision showed him. And early on, we also hear him say, it's the scene from the trailer, as Mohiam asks him, do they become true? And he says, not exactly the way I think they are. And he starts to understand, of course. I mean, we know where he ends up. He will have full control. I'm putting this in these marks, but almost full control of the visions. Here, he does not have it. Yeah, and also, I'm sorry, next thing is I could not figure out whether they said Jihad or Holy Crusade or whatever. I know they said, because in German it means Heiliger Krieg, and they said it twice. And both Jihad and Holy Crusade kind of mean that. But nothing of those two translates to Heiliger Krieg. Nothing really does. So it could be both. And I'm sorry, I don't know. Well, I'm saying if, when I see it in English again, I will, yeah, you will probably have already seen it then. So I'm sorry I can't resolve that debate, because I went to watch the German dub. Yeah. There was an emotional scene that I forgot in my heavy spoilers in-depth review. And it was the first scene that almost made me cry, and I forgot it. And when it came up, it almost made me cry again. And it was such a small scene, such a small detail. So I don't know if you know this, but you might have heard the soundtrack of Hans Zimmer. And so the Atreides in the movie are like these Scotch people, a bit, and they have bagpipe theme, and there's bagpipe man when they arrive on Arrakis. There's this bagpipe man coming out of the ship. It's quite great, and then this great orchestra of bagpipes. Don't know if to say it like this. It's just blurting out stuff. It's being great. Atreides, yes. And when the Harkonnen and the Sardaukar attack, so they are getting attacked. They are getting the ships destroyed and stuff like that. And then Gurney comes. and Gurney takes all the troops, and it's just been said that only the Sarduka are as good as the Atreides forces because they're trained by Gurney and Duncan. That's stated before. So, and I knew what was gonna happen. I thought if you don't know this, it's like this epic moment where Gurney is gonna go in. He's the one they never beat. You might, I mean, it's not said in the movie, but it might be something you think as a non-book reader, and you say yes, he's gonna go in. He's gonna take them down, and then the bagpipes start singing in the explosions and they run into it. And I knew, I because I read the books, I knew it was foolish. Nothing would happen. They would all end. It was useless, pointless. It was just so sad because it was this heroic thing and they stood for their values. They charged in, they gave their best, and I knew what was gonna happen. And the bagpipes, they made it so epic and they were so great, and I knew they were all gonna get mauled. I knew that. And it was so heartbreaking. I hated that scene, but I loved it. You know what I mean. I forgot that scene. But when it came up, when the bagpipes started playing and Gurney ran in with all the troops, started mowing down one or two people, yeah, that's absolutely devastating. Yeah. Yeah. So the Jessica scene. I have to talk about it because we talked about this. So if you were here before for another reaction, or review, I talked about the Jessica scene where she's crying. It doesn't make sense. I'm sorry that it doesn't make sense, the scene in the movie. There was a person who told me, yeah, it was weirdly cut because it is right after Leto talks to her, and then it's cut, and then she's running away, and it's because of her talk with Leto, because he says, yeah, will you protect my son? And I'm not asking you as the mother, I'm asking you as Bene Gesserit. Yeah, it's and then no, it's not like that. It's just a random scene. She just goes through the corridor and she starts crying, and it is intercut perhaps, so you might be right, whoever said it. You might be right, so it's like there is a scene after Paul had the vision near the carry-all and the harvester, and he has this vision, and he sits down, and they almost lose Paul because the worm almost eats him. Because yeah, and then he takes Gurney because he's yeah. I know, yeah. Fun little detail as well I noticed, so I now know why it happened. So um, there are these 23 peoples in the yeah, peoples, of course. Sorry, German coming through. So 23 people in the harvester, and they can only take 7 with each thopter. So Paul says, yeah, throw out the shields, so we can have 2 more. So the thopter with Paul and Duncan, Gurney, Paul and Gurney and Leto and Kynes has 2 more spaces. So it's the last thopter that's taking off. So then the people from the refinery come down and they run to the thopters, and the other thopters start. They take off, and through taking off through their dragonfly wings, they whirl up the spice dust that Paul gets hit by, and where he goes into vision mode for the first time. And I think actually you see blood there on. No, you don't see blood there on Chinese, and it's just the Chani vision, one of the Chani visions. Um, Oh, by the way, detail I noticed as well. In one of the visions, Chani and Paul go to see more deep mice in their nest, and they are very though, yeah, it's so cool, and they're together there, and they look at them and they smile and they're happy. So more deep is born there again. It's like the science, and yeah, we'll talk about that more when I analyze the movie in more detail. Anyway, so it's after that. So Paul just got hit by the spice, almost got eaten by the worm. Duncan just got him out. I'm sorry. Gurney just got him out of there barely. The worm ate the harvester, and Leto just went for what are you doing, mate? What are you doing? Sorry, the Scrooge McDuck. Yeah, what are you doing, mate? And he says, yeah, I'm sorry, and he's upset, and yeah, you could have died. Yeah, okay. And then there's another scene, I think the scene with the Sardaukar where they are recruited, but I'm not sure anymore. And then it randomly cuts to Jessica crying. And yeah, you might say it's because Paul almost got ended. No, no. I'm wrong. It was even so. I'm sorry. Sorry for confusion there, because I mean I only saw it twice. So um, after that, Paul goes to Jessica, and she says as well, "What are you doing?" Why did you do that? That was so reckless. And she's a bit angry. And then he says, I know you're pregnant. And she says, how? You can't know that. I know only myself know for a few weeks or whatever. And then next scene, intercut with something else. And then she goes through the corridor and absolutely breaks down. And I don't know why. Because Paul knew she was pregnant. I don't know. I mean, I think she told Leto by then. And I don't know. It didn't make sense. I'm sorry. And I think I know why the scene is in there, though. And I will talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that now. So I think I know why the scene is there. I think there has been a scene cut with Duncan. Because it's almost shortly before the attack happens. It's the day of the attack, so to speak, the noon of or afternoon of the day they attack. And I am so sure that they cut the Huat and Duncan stuff out there. And I think it's this scene with Jessica crying is after that scene. I'm pretty sure because after that, Duncan also is in the 90 in the next scenes when he wakes up somewhere and then starts ending 3 Saduka and then does the Thopter stuff. So I am pretty sure they cut something here and it would make it more logical. So in this version of the movie, for me, this is the only scene. It's still the scene and it doesn't tarnish the movie for me. It doesn't really do anything for me to not enjoy the movie. It's still a 10 for me by far, but it's a scene I don't like. I have to be honest with you. I just don't want to say everything is perfect. That is the thing I did not like, and I didn't like it in this time either. And I really paid attention to why it was there and stuff like that. It didn't make sense for me. Didn't make sense because after that she reacts differently. She's never this emotional. She's not even really this emotional when the Gom Jabbar happens. It's almost more. She's almost more emotional in this random scene than when Paul almost ends. So what is worse than that? Your son found out he's getting a daughter 5 months earlier than you should. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. What else was cut? I think there are at least 2 things, and I think there was a third thing, but I forgot it, which was quite obviously cut there. I'm pretty sure they cut Gurney playing the Belicid because there's the scene where Duncan tells of the Fremen, and it's in their barracks, and he tells to some of his men, and Duncan and Gurney. I'm sorry, I don't know why I confused them today. Gurney and Paul are there as well, and they have a happy evening. And he shows them the thumper. Yeah, they have this, and it's great technology. And then cuts away. I'm pretty sure Gurney will sing there in an extended cut that might exist. And the last part I heavily suspect was cut that I still know of as, and there was another thing I forgot, Duncan and Kynes. Duncan and Kynes randomly meet up after Duncan got hit. And I'm pretty sure that there's a cutscene with the signal, with the Atreides signal, because Paul gets the signal from Duncan, and Duncan randomly meets Kynes, and then picks her up randomly, and they go. I think there was something cut. It is like one of these scenes. If you see it in the movie, it makes perfect sense. But if you think about it, why would they meet up randomly on a rock? Doesn't make any sense. Don't know. So those are the things I think were cut. Last thing I want to talk about, part 2. Yeah, I think it's likely that we get part 2. I hope we get part 2. I pray we get part 2. Because when I finished the movie this time and I knew what was going to happen, I wanted the second part. I wanted to watch it immediately afterwards. Couldn't wait. And I thought to myself, and I said to my 2 friends that were with me, shoutouts to you again, I said to them, I want an evening like Lord of the Rings extended version evening with Dune evening. I need that. I need that in my life. I realized that then and there. It was just, yeah, absolutely loved it. And also something perhaps to round this off a bit, Zimmer's music is like, it is sometimes loud, but I was sitting next to the speaker, part of my stupid seat. It is really only in those scenes where really something really mysterious is happening that you either see directly or that is there when you read the books. But it's just yeah, this foreboding, dooming, loud sound, like when the Bene Gesserit, they just land with their great round little. Their ship looks like a great, a big globe, and you might have seen the glow globes. Looks like that, and they land, and there's this epic Bene Gesserit theme. It's just epic, and it's scenes like that when stuff is really in the background that is meaningful. If you read the books, there is often this swelling. It's very good, and the spaceships all make great noises. Yeah. So that was it. I hope I didn't bore you. Just wanted to get this out. Hope I um yeah, I bridged some time for you people that can only watch it in 11 days now. Gonna be soon. And for those in December, you will get through it. You will get through it. I'm sure you will too. And yeah, shoutouts to everyone who commented so much on these videos. Let me know what you think about my comments. If you agree or disagree, I would like to know that. And yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing it again. Looking forward to getting all your reactions when you finally get to see it. I hope you like it. I hope you like it. I think it's not for everyone. It's probably not for everyone. Um, and I don't want to say, because I don't think that there might. I will tell you this: there will be people who say, "Yeah, you don't understand it. You don't understand deep movies." No, no, no. I don't think so. It's not deep, although it is deep, of course, because it's Dune. But I really noticed what might throw people off that don't read the books, because many really important stuff is not in main sentences but in side remarks. So the world building happens a lot in side remarks. Stuff that happens is almost always explained, but it's never on the nose. It's always in little sentences that are said, and they are there, like the bull stuff. Do you want to talk the bull? Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's only 30 minutes, so yeah, let's talk about the bull stuff. That's an example for this. Mm. It is only said once when they are at the funeral plane on Caladan, where Paul meets his father and wants to talk about, yeah, I want to go with Duncan to Arrakis at the Fremen. I want to scout it. And then Leto says, yeah, I wanted to be a pilot when I was young as well. And you know what my grandfather said and stuff like that. You will see that in the movie. And then Paul said, yeah, but great grandfather was not the best, whatever. And then Alito says, yeah, I mean, look where it got him. He was playing with bulls. And yeah, there's nothing more. And the bull is on his grave. So those are the two instances. It's not said, yeah, your grandfather was ended by a bull. No, that's not said. It's said there is the mural on the bull piercing him on the grave, and you see that in the trailers. And there's the statement, yeah, you was a bit stupid playing with bulls. The bull is always used as a symbol for danger for Paul or the Atreides to overcome and or perish by. And I will have to think more about the bull's symbology because it's used heavily, and I think there are several ideas I have with that. I will talk about that later when the movie's out, and I can show you the scenes because talking about this is stupid. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little rambling. I hope it didn't bore you. Hope it got you some new thoughts and new ideas or new hype perhaps for this great movie. And yeah, if you like stuff like this, consider liking, subscribing. Helps out a bit. I will do foundation stuff tomorrow, science reaction the day after tomorrow, and I will be with relatives for the weekend. So next video probably will then come out on Sunday, and I will perhaps watch the horror show that Rob told me about because he was watching one of my multi-scared episodes. He said, "Yeah, if you like horror so much, why don't you watch the show?" I haven't watched the show. I will watch that as well. And yeah, I really hope the wait is over for you soon, that you can still wait. And I hope when it comes that you're not disappointed by stuff that you imagine differently, because I know that can happen so badly. I hope the movie is what you wanted. And yeah, I hope for the second part. I think it's pretty sure it's gonna happen. And yeah, with that, I hope you have a very, very great, lovely day and see you soon. Bye.